Good morning and good afternoon for all the participants. Her Excellency Rusar Pekcan, Minister of Trade of the Republic of Turkey, His Excellency Song Young-mo, Minister of Trade, Industry and Energy of the Republic of Korea, Mr. Nail Olpak, President of DEİK, Mr. Park Yong-man, Chairman of KCCI, Mr. Kong Yon-won, Chairman of Korea-Turkey Business Council, esteemed representatives of Turkish and Korean business community. As the chairman of the Turkey-Korea Business Council of Foreign Economic Relations Board, DEİK, it's a privilege for me to address you today, and I would like to thank KCCI for our counterpart institution for their valuable support in organizing this meeting. It gives me great pleasure to extend to you all a very warm welcome on behalf of DEİK and Turkey-Korea Business Council, and to say how grateful we are to convene Turkey-Korea Business and Investment Meeting. Despite that we had to organize this meeting online, we are eagerly waiting our first visit to the Republic of Korea after such an extraordinary period. Ladies and gentlemen, Asia is the fastest growing region in the world, accounting for more than 2/3 of global growth in 2019, and Republic of Korea is the 12th largest economy. I believe Turkey and Korea, two nations that sustain the bonds of brotherhood historically, shall prioritize the reciprocal business and investment relations, especially after this unprecedented global challenge. I will not go into the details, but also as a business person who have deep and long-standing relations with Korean companies, I would like to briefly share my projection on mutual business and investment relations. Turkish and Korean companies have fruitfully cooperated in many mega projects in Turkey. The most known recently is 1915 Çanakkale Bridge, which will be the longest suspension bridge in the world and will be completed with the consortium of Korean and Turkish companies. Ms. Ebru Özdemir, Chairperson of Limak Investments, will provide further details on this cooperation today. I firmly believe our mutual objective should be to increase the number of this kind of consortiums while bringing this kind of cooperation to the third countries. Another striking example of fruitful cooperation can be found in Arçelik and LG's technological partnership. Mr. Mehmet Emin Bulak, General Manager of Arçelik LG, will inform us about their partnerships today. We believe the investment agreement between our countries in 2018 will pave the way for further Korean investments in Turkey. At this point, I would like to proudly emphasize that Turkey has not halted its production during the epidemic, while many companies are forced to reconsider relocating parts of their supply chains. Turkey's strategic location enables easy reach to many markets, and I see a very clear opportunity for Korean companies, which will create a win-win scenario. Moreover, as a representative of the business community, I would like to emphasize that Turkish business community would like to take the advantage of free trade agreement signed in 2012 in a more sustainable and favorable way. In this process, we observe that some critical sectors that have strengthened their online and technological infrastructure and invested in R&D are becoming prominent. As technology investments are set to accelerate in the post-COVID world, Turkey-Korea cooperation in terms of value-added products, automotive, high-tech, digitalization, e-commerce will continuously increase its significance. Last but not least, as the chairman of Turkey-Korea Business Council, I would like to say that we are eager to contribute to the existing trade and investment relations between our countries, and we hope this meeting will offer an insight to our business communities. Now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Kong Yon-won, Chairman of the Korea-Turkey Business Council and President of Hyundai Motors. Mr. Yong-won, please.
Thank you. distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the Korean-Turkey Business Forum. My name is Gong Young-un of Hyundai Motor Company, and I am the chairman of the Korea-Turkey Business Council. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to His Excellency, Minister of Trade, Industry and Energy, Sung Yun-mo, who is joining us here today at this forum. Park Yong-man, Chairman of KCCI and the organizer of this event. Her Excellency, Minister of Trade, Ruhsar Pekhan, Mr. Nail Olpak, President of DEİK, and Chairman Ali Kibar of the Turkey-Korean Business Council. In particular, I am very glad to have Chairman Ali Kibar here with us online, since we have been cooperating with each other continuously in Turkey. As you are well aware, the world is undergoing many changes across all areas, including economic activities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Most of all, it is not easy to travel out of the country, so I fully understand that many entrepreneurs are having difficulties with their business. In this situation, I believe that companies and governments should work together to promote what is possible in order to overcome such difficulties. Established in 1997, Hyundai Asan Automotive Izmit plant represents the first plant at Hyundai Motor Company built in Europe, and it recently held a mass production ceremony for the new i20 model last month. I'd like to thank the Turkish government officials who allowed the entry of Korean engineers in April, when foreign entry was completely banned due to the pandemic, prior to the full-scale installation of the new car production line that aims to produce more than 100,000 units per year. I believe we will share the same mindset, such as SKENC and Darim Industrial, which are accelerating the construction of the Kanakkale Bridge, the world's longest suspension bridge, and SK Planet and Celtrion, which will make presentation today. We hope that our cooperation will lead to another win-win case between Korea and Turkey. Korea and Turkey are commonly referred to as brother countries. I think this term is a good description of the bond between our two countries, even if they are geographically distant because of their hearts are close. In the face of our pandemic, I hope that the business leaders from both countries will devote themselves to the common goal of overcoming the crisis together. And for next time, I look forward to the day we can meet face-to-face instead of online. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kong Yong-won, for your kind speech. Here I would like to also address our grateful thanks to Korean and Turkish government authorities. Yes, during this pandemic period, both governments were very helpful to the development and ongoing of the business as usual basis. We would like to heartfully convey our best thanks and thank you for your speech, Mr. Yong-won. Now I would like to give floor to the President, Mr. Naik Olpak, for his speech, please.
Thank you, Ali Bey. Excellency Ministers, Ms. Ruhsar Pekcan and Mr. Sung Yun-mo, Chairmans, Mr. Park Yongman, Mr. Ali Kibar, and Mr. Kong Yongmun, dear participants. First of all, I wish a healthy day and healthy days to all of us. It is an honor for me to be with our friends in Asia. We are going to evaluate the business and investment opportunities in both countries virtually, as it's already been mentioned. You know, Foreign Economic Relations Board, DEİK, is a business platform that has been continuing its activities on a voluntary-based private sector membership for 35 years. And we continue our works with an understanding of business diplomacy with the help and the support of Minister of Trade, Her Excellency Ms. Rusar Pekcan. We have 146 country-to-country based business councils all over the world, and Turkey-Korea Business Council is one of them. Thanks for their efforts, where, for example, one of their organizations is that they had issued a report named Rules to Transform Our Brotherhood to a Strategic Partnership. Now, I believe it is one of the right time to talk about construction a more diversified and sustainable and fruitful cooperation between our countries to further strengthen an existing relations. You know the volume, we know the bilateral volume, and we always privileged to have your support to a more desired level of trade volume in a more balanced way. And we are aware that it is business communities, our responsibility also to work to this goal. There are some points we should mention. That's one of them. Our bilateral relations has been transferred to a strategic partnership for the last 8 years. In addition, MICTA is a platform where both countries' ministers exchange views on regular basis, and Korea is the chair for this year. And considering the geographical positions of MICTA member countries, we see that the distance is no obstacle before any dialogue and cooperation. And I sincerely believe that we need international cooperation and solidarity more than ever. I would like to mention one more important aspect of Turkish-Korean business relations. FTA, which had been signed 8 years before, is a major breakthrough, but I believe there is a demand from Turkish business community to be able to benefit more from this agreement in a more balanced and mutually favorable manner. I hope one of the upcoming milestones of our relations will be to meet this demand. Honorable Ministers and dear participants, we were all speaking about globalization for years. Yes, it was true. Especially during this pandemic time, we are much more speaking about good localization. And we are talking more about the concept of accessibility rather than the concept of proximity or distance, which are the main parameters of logistics. In the recent unprecedented times, we all realized the significance of market diversity and supply chains. Turkey and Korea are two countries that have not halted their production during the pandemic, and we would like to increase Turkish companies' contribution to the supply chain of Korean companies in the forthcoming period. I firmly believe that those who are capable of adapting to difficult conditions and those who can manage to keep the supply chain, who can give sufficient confidence to the counterparts, will lead the change for a better world and will be the winner. I would like to finish my speech with a Korean saying, "Sijagi Vanida," starting is the half, which we also have the same proverb in the Turkish literature. I believe that today we have very important beginning in pandemic times for our economic relations. Thank you for all.
Thank you, President Mr. Olpak, for your kind remarks. And now we would like to invite Mr. Park Yongman, Chairman of KCCI. We are always thankful to KCCI for their support in developing Turkish-Korean business environment. Mr. Yongman, please, Chairman.
Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon, ministers and chairmen and distinguished guests. First, I would like to thank all of you taking your time out of your busy schedule and participate in this forum. Earlier in March, the Korea business delegation's visit to the Turkey was postponed. You know, we didn't have any choice but to do that at that time. But now I consider it rather fortunate that we can gather today through the web today. Despite the coronavirus outbreak, bilateral ties between our two nations are even stronger. This year alone, on two different occasions, the President of Turkey and President of Korea has they called each other already and had a meaningful dialogue. They agreed to fight the pandemic together and set the direction for more advanced collaboration between the two nations after this crisis subsides. Business also have roles to play. New ideas are necessary to ensure a continuity of the market in light of COVID-19. And first of all, let us turn this obstacle into an opportunity to diversify the areas of cooperation between the two nations. So far, Korea and Turkey have joined together as a team to build bridges, railroads, and smart cities under Turkey's economic development projects. And now many new economic possibilities have opened up in the digital and biotech, as well as the non-face-to-face industries. In July, Korean government unveiled the Korean New Deal, which consists of two pillars, which is digital and green. I hope this plan will serve as the foundation for a more expansive and diverse partnership between Korea and Turkey. Second, as online meetings are starting to take hold as the new norm, we need to communicate more frequently through information technologies. KCCI and DEİK have operated the committee together since 1989. We could add virtual conferences such as today's forum to our mutual visits to revitalize the Economic Cooperation Committee. During the summit call in June, our two leaders expressed their hopes to visit Çanakkale Bridge in Turkey together when the COVID-19 pandemic comes to an end. We're certainly looking forward to that day as well. We in the business community wish to be a part of such plans. I hope today's discussions helps us deepen our partnerships even further. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, for your kind remarks. Now, I would like to invite Her Excellency Minister Ruslar Pekcan, Minister of Trade of the Turkish Republic. She has been so much helpful during this pandemic period to Korean companies having problems in Turkey on their routine, on the going activities. So we have to convey our heartfelt thanks to the ministry, to her also. Please, Ms. Minister.
Thank you, Ali Bey. Dear Minister Sang Yong-mo, Ambassadors of Turkey and the Korea, Presidents of DEİK and the Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industries, co-chairs of Turkey-Korean Business Council, and dear participants. First of all, I would like to thank DEİK and the KCCI for organizing this special event, which brings distinguished representatives of Turkish and the Korean companies together. The global economy is going through a difficult period due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The world economy is expected to shrink by 4.9% in 2020, according to IMF. And also, world trade is expected to decrease somewhere between 12.9 and 31.9, according to WTO report. I would like to mention that despite these negative circumstances, Turkish economy is showing its resilience as well as dynamism, maintaining its export capacity and performance at a significant level. Despite the negative market conditions, we are one of the few countries that maintain a PMI figure above the 50 threshold value. Last month, among all countries, we had fourth highest PMI figure, as well as the third highest new export orders index figure. According to OECD latest interim assessment report, among all OECD countries, Turkey will be the least affected countries after China and Korea from the economic downturn in 2020. Such data verifies the dynamism and robust potential of Turkish economy. Indeed, Turkey is one of the few countries with expecting rapid and steep recovery. Distinguished guests, trade volume between Turkey and Korea was realized as $6.7 billion last year. As all speaker has already mentioned the details about that. While we would like to increase in trade figures with Korea, we must say that there is a significant trade deficit against Turkey, and this is a great concern for us. Our free trade agreement entered into force in 2013, followed by the agreements trade and services and investment, and entered into force in 2018. We value these agreements very much. I know that some of the strongest supporters of the FTA are participating to this meeting today, and I'm very much pleased their participation. However, we must express that when the FTA had entered into force, Turkey had very different expectations than the current picture in terms of trade and investment relation with Korea. In 2019, while Korea was Turkey's 9th biggest partner in imports, it ranked 43rd among the countries we exported the most. In other words, despite the fact that we have an FTA, Korea has one of the highest share in Turkey's total foreign trade deficit. For us, this situation is indeed not sustainable. As you know, in the current international environment, the FTAs and preferential trade arrangements are being questioned, and countries are resorting different measures on the grounds of protecting their domestic industry. In such an environment, we believe that we cannot sustain the current foreign trade deficit with Korea any longer. In order to assure that both countries can develop their trade relation bilaterally in a win-win principle and sustainable manner, we expect some concrete steps from Korea. Not only in the trade, but also in terms of investment. We had high expectations from Korea, which haven't been realized yet. Before the FTA, during 2002 and 2012 period, the total investment flow from Korea to Turkey was around $437 million. Following the FTA, during 2013 and 2019 period, the total investment flow from Korea to Turkey was realized around the same level, being $438 million. Recently, Turkey has been taking several measures against import from third countries. Our FTA continues to provide immunity to Korea from such measures. As Turkey, we favor to deepen our bilateral economic relations under the framework of our trade and investment agreement. However, in case we cannot move quickly, we are talking about more than a year, in a concrete manner, in direction of achieving the desired sustainable relationship, which we had underlined in several bilateral meetings in ministerial level and technical level, I'm afraid that Korea may not maintain its privileged status anymore. It would be very undesirable for us also if we had to take protective actions against a country like Korea, which we deemed a very dear and friendly country for us. Hence, it's our common responsibility to transform our trade structure to a relatively more balanced and sustainable shape. I hope today's events will contribute to our efforts in that direction. This is one of the reasons to come together. The role of support of the Korean and Turkish business circles is critically important on that stage. I want to encourage the distinguished president and the members of KCCI and the co-chair of the business councils to stay in close collaboration with both Turkish and Korean governments and work towards mobilizing more investment from Korea to Turkey, as well as the more export from Turkey to Korea. As I mentioned in the beginning of my speech, Turkey preserves its dynamism and continues to be one of the most attractive FDI destinations globally. We strongly encourage innovative R&D incentive and the high value-added products and the service-related investments. We are particularly interested in investment from Korea that may support Turkey's ongoing course of technological transformations. In addition to our existing types of the industrial zones, recently we have initiated a brand new model of specialized free zone in Turkey to encourage investment in high-tech by providing new incentives. The first such specialized free zone has already been designated in Istanbul and is waiting new investors, mainly from Korea we are expecting. I must also say that our companies are open and eager to cooperation and joint investment in third countries. This could especially happen in contracting and construction projects as well as in other sectors. Before ending my words, I also like to point out that we attach importance to trade using by our local currencies. We are currently in communication with Korean government in order to complete a swap agreement in this respect. But it's going very slowly, as I have been informed yesterday. I would like to encourage all companies to use national currencies as much as possible in our bilateral trade. It has been a pleasure to attend these virtual meetings. I hope this event will pave the way to deepening and enhancing trade and economic relations between our countries as we desire. I also would like to thank Minister Sang Yong-mo for supporting this event and also for all his kind cooperations. Besides being an important economic partner, Korea is one of the friendliest countries for us. We always feel great sympathy towards Korea. Therefore, I would like to hold a long-term constructive economic partnership perspective. Hopefully, with collective work, we will achieve these ideals. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you, dear Minister Pekcan, for your kind speech, which are highlighting the remarks on different objectives. So I hope in coming period the FDI will flow more, as well as the swap and other business imbalance environment could be balanced in a time frame. I would like to invite His Excellency Song Yun-mo, Minister of Trade, Industry and Energy of the Republic of Korea, please. His Excellency.
Merhaba. I would like to begin with my sincere congratulations on today's Korea-Turkey Business Forum, which will serve to revitalize the economic cooperation between our two countries amidst the difficulties of COVID-19. In this vein, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Honorable President Nairol Park, the Foreign Economic Relations Board of Turkey, Honorable Chairman Park Yong-man, the Korean Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Honorable Chairman Ali Kibar, Kibar Holding, Honorable President Gong Young-un, Hyundai Motor Group, and especially to Her Excellency Rusar Pekcan, Minister of Trade of Turkey, for all their contributions to this forum. I would like to also thank the business community of our two countries for their enthusiasm and participation as well. Distinguished guests, the relationship between Korea and Turkey dates back to the 16th century. It was during the Korean War, however, our bilateral relations were forged in blood and we became forever united as brother countries. Indeed, His Excellency President Erdogan commemorated the 70th anniversary of the Korean War this last June with his special video message. Our historical and emotional bonds has served to continue and enrich the economic cooperation we enjoy today. Following the bilateral strategic partnership established in 2012 and the successful entry into force of the Korea-Turkey FTA in 2013, a steadfast foundation has been laid for our economic cooperation. As our two countries grow closer to each other, over 300 Korean companies are now contributing to economic growth and job creation in Turkey. Our joint response to pandemic has once again served as a testament to our close economic ties. Through their phone conversation earlier this year, our two leaders has agreed to coordinate their response to COVID-19 and shared the importance of continued exchange of essential business people. As a result, personnel from Hyundai Motors were granted special entry into Turkey in April, which made possible the production of new vehicles as planned. And thanks to timely dispatch of Korean engineers in May, the construction of Çanakkale Bridge, commemorating the 100th anniversary of the Republic of Turkey, continued to make progress without interruption. Our bilateral trade also remained steadfast. The bilateral trade volume expanded year on year despite COVID-19, and we are seeing growing in exports on both our sides. Distinguished guests, as the pandemic stretches into the long haul, the global economy faces major challenges, including economic recession and structural transformation. Both our governments are working to manage the spread of virus while simultaneously adopting active economy stimulus package, which has two cross-cutting themes, green and digital. The Korean government announced the Korean New Deal in July with the key pillars of the new Green New Deal and Digital New Deal, which are intended to promote investment and create jobs. Last year, the Turkish government announced the 5-year economic development plan with the objective of fostering new industries in advanced sectors, including electric vehicles, renewable energy, and AI. That being said, I believe our economic cooperation should focus on both responding to COVID-19 in short term, while ensuring we are fully prepared for post-COVID era. Thus, it is crucial we expand our cooperation from traditional manufacturing, such as the automobiles and home appliances, to cutting-edge industries, including green and digital sectors. In this vein, I would like to highlight 3 directions for our economic cooperation going forward. First, we must expand our cooperation in green industries to ensure sustainable development. Our two countries signed the MOU on cooperation in Eco-Industrial Park in 2018. And we are jointly moving forward with the consulting project to apply the KEIP model to the industrial park in Turkey. Given the global transition of industrial park into smart and green complex taking place across the world, I hope Korea and Turkey will work closely in this sector as well. Recognizing the promising future of green mobility, Korea is striving to foster the electric and hydrogen vehicle industries. And for its part, Turkey is aiming to gain self-sufficiency in mass production of electric vehicles by 2023. If we integrated our respective capabilities and technologies based on our cooperation, strengthened through Hyundai Motors, we will surely create a huge synergy effect in the field of electric vehicles. Second, we must bolster our digital transformation cooperation to enhance industrial competitiveness. Korea has experience in boosting dynamism and innovation across all industry sectors based on our strong IT infrastructure. And I have no doubt such experience will contribute much to the digital transformation of Turkey. For example, SK Planet and DEİK jointly launched a new online service, which has emerged as a role model for digital cooperation in response to COVID-19. Turkey is now striving to build an intelligent transportation network, and I believe there is no better partner than Korean companies that boast world-class digital technologies. Third, we need to enhance exchanges of human and materials resources to ensure the stabilization of supply chains. The imposition of border restrictions amid the pandemic has brought about the unexpected shocks to the global supply chain, resulting in severe disruptions to the production of companies. It is thus imperative that our two countries strengthen our cooperation to maintain the movement of essential workers and logistical flows. By doing so, we will generate mutual benefits for the smooth cooperation and recovery of the supply chain, as well as dampen economic shock from COVID-19. Finally, we should revitalize our economic cooperation by actively pushing ahead with bilateral business events, which serve as a catalyst for exchange and cooperation between our private sectors. And also, I would like to comment on the minister's comments on the Korea-Turkey FTA. I think the FTAs are not designated to balance the trade deficit. On the contrary, FTAs facilitate the trade. So let us talk about the bilateral FTA on different channels with related government ministries. So she'll find their time and the place to talk more. Honorable participants and guests, although we are currently facing the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, I'm convinced that our two countries have ample activity to overcome the challenges that lie ahead of us. Turkey has a proud history of rising above national crises under the leadership of its first president, Kemal Pasha, and Korea achieved the miracle on Han River following its recovery as a war-torn nation. I expect that the business people of our two countries will adapt to any and all future changes and even go one step further by creating opportunities beyond the simple recovery of ongoing pandemic. There are no friends like old friends, as a Turkish proverb says. Although our economic cooperation stems from your business activities, the ensuing outcomes will be as a result of a solid friendship built up over decades and centuries. I wish you all the very best of the health and prosperity. Teşekkür ederim. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear Minister Sang Yong-mo, for your kind speech. From our both ministers' speeches, we can understand that there are a lot more opportunity of new business environment, and more FTA could be flowing towards Turkey. So the current imbalance can be equalized, and from the Mr. Yong-mo ministers addressing that he's enlightening for more electrical and new technology and IT related business area possibilities. As Turkey being one of the emerging country, it provides great potential possibility of logistics, not only for Turkish domestic, but also for the neighborhood markets. And with the current effectiveness, efficiency of ongoing business environment, it's one of the heavenly places to work for Korean companies around the world, I believe. Thank you, Minister. Now we will continue with our first session of our meeting, where we will present the business and investment opportunities in Turkey. Mr. Taha Saran, CEO representative of the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey Investment Office, will make a presentation on the business and investment opportunities in Turkey. Mr. Saran, the floor is yours, please.
Your Excellencies, Minister of Trade, Ruslar Pekcan, Minister of Trade, Industry and Energy, Song Yeon-mo, other distinguished speakers and dear guests. I would like to start by extending our gratitude to DEİK and KCCI for organizing this webinar and giving us the opportunity to present in front of such highly distinguished audience. Let me share my screen for the presentation. Okay, so I have only about 10 to 15 minutes to present, so I'll try to keep it as fast and simple as possible. I will first talk about Turkey's investment environment and move on to some investment opportunities in few selected sectors. To start with the question, why Turkey? Why should investors invest in Turkey and choose Turkey as their investment destination? There are many reasons, of course, but for the sake of our limited time, I will focus, in my opinion, the top 3 important reasons. First one being the big domestic market that Turkey has. Secondly, the strategic geographical location. And thirdly, the business-friendly investment environment that it offers. So Turkey as a big market has a very large population. And when you look at the figures on the left side of your screen, you can see that Turkey, together with Germany, with a little over 83 million people living, is the largest population in Europe, and it's also an increasing population, not only a large one. So by the year 2050, Turkey will be by far the largest population in Europe with over 100 million people. It's not only a big population, but it's also a young and dynamic population. Again, when you look at the figures, the median age in Turkey is 32.4 years old, which makes Turkey the youngest country in all of Europe, and it will continue to be so even after 30 years in 2050. Turkey ranking 13th in the global economy with its GDP at purchasing power parity. As I mentioned, a big market, and when we compare with some of its competitors, especially when it comes to attracting foreign direct investment, you'll see that Turkey has been performing much better even after you see here the global financial crisis. Turkey was able to pick up a faster growth rate. This chart here is very interesting. This was published by OECD just last month in August 2020, showing their projection of real GDP forecast for this year. Korea, showing an extraordinary performance, is expected to contract only 1.2%. And right after, Turkey comes second with 4.8% of contraction in the economy. This shows that Turkey is a fast growing economy, but also it shows how resilient, how strong Turkish economy is against such economic shocks such as the COVID-19 pandemic. Second reason why to invest in Turkey is its unique geographical location. Here in this world map, you can see how strategically Turkey is located in the center of major regions such as Europe, Middle East, North Africa, Central Asia, and Russia. If we were to make a 4-hour flight zone, as you see in this yellow circle, from Istanbul, you will be able to reach 56 nations, 1.5 billion people, a total GDP of $24 trillion, and a total trade volume of $7 trillion in just 4 hours from Turkey. And that is why many multinational companies choose Turkey as their manufacturing and export hub in the countries in the region. For example, Hyundai Motors is one of them. Just to give an example, they're exporting over 85% of their production from their factory in Turkey into Europe mainly. And also, similarly, many companies choose Turkey as their management hub as well. And this is not only due to the close proximity to these markets, but also the close historical and cultural ties that Turkey have with all the countries in the region, which makes Turkey one of the best investment destinations to reaching out to these markets. When you look at the bottom of the screen here, you'll see the World Bank's Doing Business Report Index. Turkey has been able to significantly improve its ranking last 3 years. 3 years ago, we ranked 60th. Last year, we were 43rd, and this year in 2020, we ranked 33. In this aspect, Turkey has shown the best improvement in all the countries in the world, actually. And this was possible due to, thanks to ongoing reforms that have been implemented by the Turkish government. Perhaps the most important one to mention, the FDI law was passed in 2003. And thanks to this FDI law, there are little benefits for foreign direct investors in Turkey, and their rights are protected under this law. I will skip this part because, as far as I know, the next presentation from Minister of Trade, Minister of Industry and Technology will cover this part. So I'd like to move on to the opportunities. Turkey has abundant opportunities, a lot of opportunities in a variety of sectors, but in our opinion, these ones in the screen you see are the most promising ones for the foreign investors. To mention automotive, machinery and electrical equipment, aerospace and defense, energy, together with chemical and petrochemical, agro-food, infrastructure and finance. Because we have limited time, I will just focus on infrastructure and energy. And if I have time left, I will also like to touch upon a little bit of entrepreneurship and startups ecosystem in Turkey. So Turkey has been quite popular with its mega projects, we call them. These are huge multi-billion-dollar infrastructure projects that was implemented by the Turkish, supported by the Turkish government. There will be many success cases, but let me show you some upcoming projects in the pipeline. Maybe the most anticipated one, Canal Istanbul, which is also referred to as the project of the century. As you see on the left side of the screen, this is a 43-kilometer length canal connecting the northern part of Black Sea of Istanbul to southern Marmara Sea. It's planned to have 6 bridges on this canal, and it will also bring together some new satellite cities around the canal. So it will not just be the canal itself, but also additional infrastructure investments coming with this huge project. The next one, Grand Istanbul Tunnel, which will be the second undersea tunnel that is connecting the 2 continents in Istanbul. In addition to the 2 levels of motorways, it will have a dual line of metro line as well. Another highly anticipated project is the Turkey, in the westernmost part of Turkey, as you see, after Istanbul and Ankara. Currently, to get from north to south of the city, which is located in the bay you see here, it is 31 kilometers and includes the city traffic. But with this new project, it will be much shorter, of only 12.6 kilometers. It has about 4 kilometers of a bridge, and then a submerged tube under sea for about 2 kilometers, then connecting to the mainland Izmir. Investment project in Turkey. In this map, you can see from Ankara to Istanbul and down to Konya are the already existing, the completed ones. The blue ones are under construction, and the green lines you see here all around Turkey, here also in Marmara region, are the ones which will be tendered soon, in next 5 to 10 years, will be completed and operational. We know that Korean companies, leading by KRNA, Team Korea, is very interested in this project, which will be the first one on the pipeline, which is connecting Halkalı to Gebze in Istanbul area. Moving on to energy. Unfortunately, Turkey doesn't have much fossil fuels, such as oil or natural gas, but we are blessed with renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, geothermal, and hydropower. We also have big projects for nuclear and lignite coal, but let me focus on solar projects because, again, these tenders are going to be very soon. It was announced in July this month, and the tenders are going to take place in October 19th to 23rd. There's a model called DEİK in Turkey, which basically means that these are special energy zones that is announced by the government to provide some extra benefits, some additional privileges to investors who take place in these investments. There are some conditions. I will mention in the next slide. But simply, there will be 74 new solar power plants in 36 cities with a capacity of 10, 15, and 20 megawatts installed capacity for each project. Here you can see the conditions to bid in these tenders. First condition is that you need to use domestically produced equipment up to a certain ratio. In exchange of your commitment to use these products, government will give you the right to utilize, the right to use these sources, the connections. 15 years of that being under the government price guarantee. The government promises to purchase electricity on a fixed price, which will be decided as a result of the tenders, and the ceiling price of the bidding will be 0.3 Turkish liras per kilowatt hour, and it will be a Dutch auction procedure, which is reverse bidding. And here in this map, you can see where the projects are located on the map, mainly in central, southern, and eastern part of Turkey, where we get the highest levels of solar irradiation. So I think if I may take a few more minutes to mention about Turkish startup ecosystem, because Turkey has one of the most advantages and opportunities in this area, in its region, but it's very little known to Koreans, or almost not known at all. So I would like to share some information. This was the picture of Turkish startup ecosystem 10 years ago. As you see, there is not much in the dynamics of this area, except few NGOs and government support and some technoparks. But this is how the picture looks after 10 years today in 2020. As you see, we have a very well-established startup ecosystem now with all the funding side, supporting side, lots of accelerators, both private and public, foreign and local VCs, and all the other parts of the ecosystem is already established. And thanks to this, angel and VC funding for Turkish startups grew by 69% in last year only, reaching over 100 million in deals, in 100 deals, which put Turkey in the first league of Europe early stage investment, together with countries such as Belgium, Denmark, Finland, Italy, Austria, Russia, and so on. Here, just a highlight, just to show some major M&A activities that took place in the last 10 years. But I would like to highlight, especially these ones, the largest ones. You can see the deals of each project. But I would like to specifically mention this one. The American Zynga Games company purchased the Turkish Peak game company for $1.8 billion this year, which made it Turkey's first ever unicorn, and is expected to continue with this trend in the future. Of course, the government support is also really important when it comes to investing in startups of a country. There are many support mechanisms, but I would like to just mention one for those who might be interested in investing in Turkish startups as a funding or financing. When you invest to Turkish startups or companies through a venture capital or a private equity fund, instead of directly investing into them, there will be no withholding tax for the dividends distributed, and also there will be no withholding tax on exits, which is a really major support. So that was, in a nutshell, some investment opportunities in Turkey. Of course, there are a lot more opportunities. If you are interested in getting any information, you don't have to be having an investment project. You can have just a basic business idea or just maybe some questions. You're always welcome to contact us. As you can see, our contact information. We have office here in Yeoksam in Seoul, in Gangnam area. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you all very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saran, for your comprehensive explanation and information. I would like to inform audience that our two ministers has left the floor. and we will continue at our presentations. Now we will have two more presentations from Ministry of Industry and Technology of Turkey. Ms. Lale Eray, Head of Department, will make a presentation on investment incentives in Turkey. Please, Ms. Eray, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Distinguished guests and dear participants, first I would like to welcome you all. My name is Lale Eray and I'm Head of Department at the Ministry of Industry and Technology. Today I would like to inform you about the investment incentives in Turkey. Current incentive legislation in Turkey can be grouped under two pillars. The first one is the investment incentive program, and the second one is project-based incentive program. The investment incentive program comprises 4 different schemes. These are regional, priority, strategic, and general investment incentive schemes. Companies can benefit from the proper scheme according to the investment size, capacity, location, and the sector. Here, the aim of the regional investment scheme is to eliminate the inter-regional imbalances. In this scheme, Turkey has been divided into 6 regions, and the intensity of the supports are differentiating according to the development level of the region. And the next scheme is the Priority Investment Incentive Scheme, which aims to promote critical investments regardless of its regions. And even if the companies make the investments in region 1, 2, 3, or 4, they will benefit from the support measures of region 5. The sectors cover a wide range from manufacturing to services, from energy to R&D related investments. And the Strategic Investment Incentive Scheme supports projects for the manufacturing of products with high import dependency and high value added. And the last scheme is the General Investment Incentive Scheme. And if a company cannot benefit from other schemes, they have the opportunity to benefit from the general scheme with the minimum intensity of support. And here are the support measures of our system. We have 9 support measures. As you see, Turkey offers investors favorable incentives such as tax incentives, incentives for labor, and financial incentives. As for the details of the incentives, VAT and customs duty exemptions are for machinery and equipment, as well as purchasing and renting intangible rights and software. Supported investments can also benefit from tax deduction up to the 55% of fixed investment amount. In the program, there are some incentive tools which aim to decrease the burden of employment costs on the investor. Under Social Security Premium Support, employers and employees' share of Social Security Premium is covered by Ministry up to 12 years. In addition to those, income tax will not be liable to withholding up to 10 years. And all these labor incentives are calculated over minimum gross wage. And interest support covers investment loans, and under this support, a certain portion of the interest covered by the ministry. Under land allocation, government land may be allocated for the selected investments. And another tax-related incentive is VAT refund. Here, VAT paid for the building and construction will be rebated. All these programs, priority and strategic investments are the most generous ones. In addition to current system, in 2016, we put into practice a new program named Project-Based Incentive Scheme with a new approach. I would like to highlight some novelties of this program here. Unlike the current broad-based incentive scheme, this selective project-based incentive scheme brings the opportunity to evaluate investments individually according to their needs and characteristics. while investment incentive program is based on a conventional approach and simply a fixed incentive package is offered to investor. Here in project-based incentive scheme, investors have the opportunity to select the best support instruments for their project from a pool of support. And according to this program, investments which can ensure supply security, reduce import dependency, provide technological transformation, and possess high R&D and high value added are supported with unique incentive mechanisms. In this program, applications are collected through announcement or invitation methods by the ministry, and the method used until now is the invitation method. We send invitations to competent firms in order to give them an opportunity to display their projects for a certain type of investment. The minimum investment amount in this scheme is 500 million Turkish liras. In order to benefit from the scheme, applications are evaluated by the ministry in terms of their compliance with the goals of the system. And approved applications are submitted to the presidency by the ministry in order to identify supports, their rates, durations, and amounts. At the end of the negotiation process, an agreed support package is put into effect by a president decision. And then, in order to benefit from this support, incentive certificate is issued by the ministry. And naturally, in this program, projects have specific characteristics and different support needs. Therefore, rather than a fixed package, we design a flexible system to ensure that each project can benefit from optimum support package for the investor and for our country. As you see, investors may benefit from various tax incentives, employment incentives, and financial supports under this program. When we look at the details of these incentives, the 8 support measures that we already have in the general program is in use in this program as well. For the machinery, we have VAT and customs duty exemptions and VAT refund for building expenses as well. And in this program, tax deduction is more favorable. Here, the investments can benefit from tax deduction up to 2-fold of investment amount. In terms of labor incentives, under this program, Social Security premium support is calculated over gross wage, unlike the general program. And a completely new support measure in the scheme is qualified personal wage support. The wage of each qualified personnel, which are employment in the investment, is covered by our ministry up to the 20-fold of gross minimum wage and up to 5 years. And project-based incentive scheme offers 2 new financial instruments here. The first one is energy support. Under this support, energy expenditures related to the investment will be supported up to the 50% of energy consumption and maximum of 10 years. And the second one is partnership with the investor. Although it has never been implemented yet, government may get into a partnership with the investor by 49% for a certain period of time. This program also includes land allocation, and if committed employment is maintained for 5 years following the completion of the investment, premises can be transferred to investors free of charge. Additionally, if deemed necessary, all types of infrastructure requirements of the investment project will be supplied by the relevant government body. For instance, connection to the railroads, highways, or ports can be covered here. The purchasing guarantee will be provided by relevant public institution for the product that will be produced by project-based investment. And it's also possible to facilitate the procedures of permissions, licenses, allocations, and registrations, as well as the other restrictive provisions defined in the relevant legislations. This new system is not sector-specific, but to name some targeted investment areas: the renewable energy production technologies, integrated metallurgy production, petrochemicals, medical technologies, biotechnology, defense systems, are expected to benefit from project-based support within this context. And finally, we believe that this highly generous support instruments will help Turkey attract key investments that would bolster international competitiveness of the country. And thank you for your patience and attention. Please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lale Eray, for your comprehensive and enlightening explanation. Now we would like to invite Can Gürlek, who will make his presentation on international investment regime and investment climate. Please, Mr. Gürlek.
Thank you, Chair. Distinguished guests from Korea and Turkey, good morning and good afternoon for you all. This is Can Gürlek. I'm working in Ministry of Industry and Technology as an FDI expert. And today I'll be briefing you about our FDI policy and our investment climate reform program. So let me share my presentation. So as Turkey, we have one of the most liberal FDI law in the world, which dates back to 2003. It defines the rights and obligations of the international investors. It defines what is FDI and who is international investor, actually. The main rule in the law is the national treatment. So we do not have any discrimination between the foreign and domestic companies in any terms. Of course, there are some minor restrictions stemming from our international obligations and some clauses like national security. But when you compare them with the OECD countries in average, let's say, for example, according to OECD's FDI restrictiveness index, our FDI restrictions are much lower than those countries in average. Apart from that, we don't have any pre-entry screening or any minimum capital requirement. You can freely transfer your proceeds, dividends, and other financial type of assets. And thanks to our bilateral investment treaties, which we have 108 DITs signed so far and 82 of them under force, you can directly apply for international dispute settlement mechanisms. Of course, we don't only have bilateral investment treaties, we also have free trade agreements, including investment chapters, like the agreement that we have with the South Korea, which was enacted in 2018. And this issue can sometimes become very important for our international investors, because let me just give you an example. You, as an investor in Turkey, as a Korean investor, you have a investment dispute with the Turkish government, let's say in this or that way, and without exhausting the local remedies in Turkey, you can directly apply to international arbitration mechanisms thanks to those agreements. And just let me tell you a few words about our investment climate reform program in Turkey. Well, as Turkey, we believe that the main engine of economic growth in the country is the private sector investments. Of course, the government will be an agent in the economy to prevent market failures, but mainly as a regulator, not as a player. And those regulations should be efficient. They shouldn't bring extra burden on the investors. So the investors should focus on their investments rather than dealing with bureaucratic procedures. So that's our understanding. And with this understanding, in 2001, we formulated a platform which we call DEİK. It's the abbreviation of Coordination Council for the Improvement of the Investment Climate in Turkish. So on the left-hand side, you can see that the DEİK platform consists of 3 different layers. At the bottom, we have some working groups, 8 working groups, each dealing with a specific area in the investment climate, and technical expert level studies are conducted there. At the top, we have the DEİK platform headed by the Vice President of Turkey with the participation of the related ministers and the heads of NGOs. And this is a high-level platform taking high-level political decisions and resolving high-level conflicts. And in the middle, we have a steering committee which provides a coordination between those 2 platforms. And as Minister of Industry and Technology, with the partnership of our investment office, we are conducting our secretary activities of this platform. So how does the system work? It works in line with our annual action plans. So each and every year, we turn back to our private sector members and ask about them the problems that they face during their investment processes. So at the end, we have a pool of investor problems. We classify them and send those to working groups. And those issues are discussed in the working groups in detail, and they are prioritized with respect to their effectiveness and applicability. And they are once again discussed in the steering committee, once again in the DEİK committee, and then finalized here as a governmental paper that all the ministers should pursue. Just to give you an example about what kind of studies are conducted there. So our most updated action plans was published in August 2019. So we are just about to end this year's studies, and we have already started for the preparation of the next year's action plan. And this year's action plan was consist of 35 actions, and we have already completed 28 of them. And just to give you an insight, as I said, let me mention you about some examples that we have already completed within the action plan. Like we have prepared a global innovation index roadmap, on-site customs clearance in import is put into practice, export-related cost and process are identified, a risk capital fund is created for high-tech national firms, and regional competitive investment subjects are identified. And let me just briefly talk about our Investment Advisory Council platform. So I've already mentioned about the DEİK platform, and it is the national front of our investment environment studies, and EAC, Investment Advisory Council, is the international front of those studies. Actually, from now on, the organizations with regard to Investment Advisory Council will be conducted by our Presidency Investment Office. But since it's an integrated part of the DEİK studies, I'll be just mentioning you in a few words. It's a meeting which is convened under the chair of Turkish President with the participation of heads and CEOs of the multinational companies. So what we do here, in a one-day meeting format, in a very friendly environment, we ask those CEOs about their perceptions with regards to Turkey's investment climate. And we get their recommendations, we get their suggestions, and we use those suggestions as an input for our UX studies. So that's how we find the linkage between our internal and external front of our studies. And finally, I would like to mention you about some figures with regards to FDI flows in Turkey. I guess the slide is self-explanatory. So as you can see here, the total FDI we attracted from 1975 to 2002 in a 27 years of time was only 15 billion US dollars. Where from 2003 to 2020 June, we attracted more than 220 billion US dollars. So we can assume that like for the last 10 years, we at least have a base of 10 billion US dollars FDI inflow per year. Of course, this year is a special one. So we know that many multinational companies are experiencing huge reductions in their revenues, which are inevitably reflected on the FDI flows globally. Let's say, for example, according to OECD and UNCTAD, the FDI figures will reduce like 30 to 40% in 2020 and 21. And it will be even below the threshold of $1 trillion US globally. And of course, those issues also reflected the inflow of figures for Turkey, FDI inflows. And in the first half of the year, we attracted around 3 billion US dollars so far. So that's all I would like to tell you. You can see my contact information here. So if you have any questions, anything that you would like to ask, we would be more than glad to contact with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gürlek, for your comprehensive information. If there is any questions, shall we take them now or after? So now we will proceed to the second and last session of our meeting, where we will be taking a glance at the Turkey-Korea business opportunity for the future. As the first speech, I would like to give floor to Ms. Ebru Özdemir, the chairperson of DİİK Investments. Ms. Özdemir is also board member of DEİK and Turkey-Korea Business Council. Ms. Özdemir, floor is yours, please. Your mute, yeah, please turn in unmute.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Presidents and Chairpersons, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real great pleasure for me to be here with you and share the virtual panel with distinguished panelists. The strong ties between our two countries, Turkey and Korea, are compelling reason to build bridges. And the ministers has already mentioned about this, and they are excellent in personalization of this. And I know personally, and also it's been stated by the ministers and the panelists and the speakers, the importance given to the relations between Turkey and Korea by Turkey, by Turkish Ministry of Trade, by our ministers, and at the government level is very high. And I'd like to take this opportunity to express my deep appreciation for the invaluable support in building this excellent bilateral relationship that we enjoy today and which was started long time ago. And we have listened this morning, the potential is huge, but of course we can always do more in the business. And as DİİK, we are very eager and ready to explore these opportunities with Korean companies, not only in Turkey, but also in other countries. And my presence here today only reflects one portion of the success that we have achieved so far. And as you very well know, I represent DİİK Group. We are one of the region's business groups that is active in construction, infrastructure, energy, cement production, PPPs, airports and ports management, as well as tourism. And we are currently operating in 15 different countries and more than 60,000 employees. And we have also started some mega projects in Turkey. And where I have to say, and it has been mentioned a couple of times before, that we are in the consortium that's building the world's mega project, 1915 Çanakkale Bridge and Motorway, where we are actually 4 companies, 2 Turkish, Asen Yapı Merkezi, and 2 Korean, SK and Delin. And of course, I'd like to give you some details and recent updates about the project, but I'd like to start with a personal note that I may say. And in Turkish, we have an expression that's called göz bebeği, which is kind of the eye baby. And we actually use this expression when you would like to mention about something that's very close to our heart and mind. And I can honestly say that Çanakkale Bridge is actually my göz bebeği, which is close to my heart and which is actually the eye baby. And among many other projects that we have undertaken under DİİK, this is one of the projects that stands close to my heart and I put a lot of effort on. And this is one of the reasons I often visit the site. Last month, I was there 4 times and I got really excited when I visit the project site, as this project is actually a dream coming true and a centuries-long dream. And I'm very happy that this important project, which is very symbolic, is actually been realized by Turkish and Korean partnership. And we're happy that they are making this dream come true. And it's actually a great and big responsibility to complete this dream project in such a historic spot where there has been many civilizations, many wars took place, and the region of Çanakkale, which is actually a centuries-long history of heroism. And under that opportunity and using this opportunity, I'd like to thank to all our partners, all our workers, all our staff, all our engineers for the fruitful cooperation that has been successful so far. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe the current healthy relationship between Turkey and Korea is also reflected very well in Çanakkale project. And it's my view, it's very essential to forge and deepen the ties between the Turkish and Korean business communities further. And in order to do that, we need to have success stories, more success stories to inspire and we really need to move forward. And as you have been aware of, this project is an inspirational one, where it's going to be the longest suspension bridge in the world with the main span of 2,023 meters. And it will be the widest open suspension bridge, and which is 333 meters height with highest towers in the world. And the project will be accompanied by an 88-kilometer of highway. And hopefully when we finish, it will be probably the fastest built bridge in that span in the world. And we have all witnessed a breathtaking financing project where we have 25 different banks from all over the world, where Kexim and K-Sure from Korea are the main pillars. I'd like to thank to both of these financial institutions here, as they put a lot of effort under the financing of this project. But we also have many participation financial institutions from all over the world, from Europe, Asia, Middle East, from actually 10 different countries, such as Germany, France, Italy, United Arab Emirates, China, and so forth. So it became a very complex, but a very symbolic financing. And I'm happy to say that the project accelerates very fast. In the past 3.5 years, although it's a very relatively short time, we have achieved a lot. And this is all due, that I have to admit, to the support and collective action we have succeeded to establish between the 4 partners, Turkish and Korean, working hand in hand as a team. And at the moment, there are engineers and staff at site, most of them Turkish and Korean, but we have 12 different countries are represented at the construction site today, again working as a team. And we actually have collected the best teams and the best talents from all the partners, from all the companies that are working on the projects. And when needed, not all the partners, Turkish and Koreans, didn't hesitate to employ the talent from their own resources for the project. And I always do believe in learning curves, effects and progress. And I believe we have a lot to learn from each other in working in such an international and global team in such a global symbolic project. And I do see that the project, if each partner bringing their strengths, their best talents to add more value to the job, this is very important. And I think more than the result to be achieved, the process that we receive throughout the project is very precious and very important. And if we don't replicate this in other projects, I think it will be a loss for us and for our partners and for the Turkish and Korean partnership. And of course, this is a great motivation and a lot of encouragement for my company, for my partners, and we have to do more. It doesn't have to be in Turkey, but this partnership can go to other countries, maybe Africa. And I call this a success story, and I'd like to thank my partners. Hope that we'll see that the traffic we'll see the traffic on the bridge and the motorway, hopefully before 2022. But last but not the least, I also would like to add one last point. As I started with the words göz bebeği, as Çanakkale project is my göz bebeği, or my eye, a project that's close to my heart and my mind. But as you may know, for the past 6 years, at Limak Foundation, we are running a project called Türkiye'nin Mühendis Kızları, Engineer Girls of Turkey project. That project is also my göz bebeği, which is my eye baby. We aim to inspire more young women to pursue engineering careers in Turkey. And I'm very happy and proud to say that we have engineer girls that graduated from this project are currently employed at Çanakkale project. And they're also contributing to the project. They are learning to build a bridge, as well as they are working as a team with the other engineers. And I have to thank my partners here, Turkish and Korean, for giving them this chance to the young women engineers and supporting them as in their careers. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much for the attention and wish this webinar with a view of strengthening the economy and developing better ties with Korea and becoming a more investment-friendly partnership between Turkey and Korea. And I wish success to all the participants and the distinguished audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zener, for your kind remarks and sharing with us about your experiences. We hope this and new experiences can be in between Turkish and Korean companies on upcoming period. Now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Hijk Jae Lee, Vice President of Celltrion, one of the globally well-known biopharmaceutical companies in South Korea, and they are developing biosimilars. Mr. Lee, the floor is yours, please.
Hi. Hi, this is Hijk Jae Lee from, I'm a Vice President of Celltrion, who is a biopharmaceutical company in Korea, and we also have as many kind of businesses in Turkey, and I'm personally traveled to Turkey about 10 or 20 times to resolve some of the issue. And secondly, I'm very honored to have opportunity to present our company introduction and explain about the business in Turkey, about our biopharmaceutical and chemical businesses. So my presentation have a two part. The first part is company introduction, and the second part is to explain our businesses in Turkey. So not all of you are from a biopharmaceutical industry. Let me please have a chance to introduce about our company, since we are kind of new company. So first part is company introduction. So generally, we are a biopharmaceutical company making oncology drugs and also autoimmune disease. And we have about 5 main businesses. So first of all, our main business is biopharmaceutical R&D and the production. And later on, I will explain it. But Turkey is very important business territory to us, since our European production is located in Turkey, and our main drug product is manufactured in Turkey, and all of them are exporting to all across the Europe area. And we also have a businesses for chemical pharmaceutical company. And we're also doing biocosmetics and some of entertainment businesses. And we started our business 2002, and the number of employees about 2,000 employees. And if we included all our sister company, it is about 4,000 employees. We are focusing on biosimilar, and now we are doing a new drug development too. We are growing our revenue rapidly. Average growth of our revenue is 40%. So this is a little bit of the snapshot of how we grow. So we started our business as a CMO, and it started at 2002, and it almost completed that business establishment by 2010. And we also started our biosimilar businesses in 2013, as we are the first globally developing the biosimilar company. And then we currently launched the 4 products. And now we are developing new drugs, and also we are very enthusiastically trying to have our new business too. So this is a snapshot of our manufacturing facility. We have 2 plants. It is about 3rd or 4th biggest biopharmaceutical company in the world. And then we have about 190,000 liter biopharmaceutical large cell culture manufacturing facility. And we are also considering to build another 200,000 liter large cell cultural manufacturing facility. And this is about facility we are producing a drug substance product. But after we produce the drug substance product, we are shipping this product to Turkey to provide our oncology drug to across Europe. So Turkey is one of our main manufacturing hub to supply the European demands. Okay, this is the slide to explain about what sort of the product we have. So we have 4 products. The first product is world first biosimilar product, which is about European market share is over 60% now. And this is autoimmune disease drugs. And second thing is another cancer drug, oncology drugs. And third thing is breast cancer drugs. We also got the approval from Europe and the US. And the fourth thing is the first, which is SC type of Remsima, which is recently be approved by Europe and are doing a clinical trial to get an approval to the US. So, and this is how we grow our market share. And we are the top market share company on those 3 drugs. And the total revenue about with these 3 drugs is about $1.5 billion. Next page. So this is a snapshot of how we are adding our pipelines. We are trying to have added 1 biosimilar per 1 year. So we're trying to have about 15 to 20 biosimilar by 2030. And the reason we are having this web conference or the video conference is because of the COVID-19. We're also taking a big responsibility to resolve the issue about the COVID-19. And we developed the test kits and we are exporting to the US now. And we also have 2 ways of developing the drugs. So one is the antibody therapeutics. We are now getting approval about the phase 2 trial and from Korea, and it's under review in the European company. And we are trying to finalize our phase 2 trial by end of this year, and to give some sort of the solution to help the people to resolve the issue of the COVID-19. And hopefully we could have some of the data. So we had the phase 1 data, which is very successful. And we are about to present that. So this is the snapshot of the status of the development. And we initiated clinical trial from July and just complete the phase 1. And we recently got a phase 2 trial approval by the government. And so all the summary, we started as a CMO businesses, but now we are first leader of the biosimilar. And we are doing a lot of the work about the COVID-19. And we're also doing a new businesses. So we're trying to have some sort of a game changer in the biopharmaceutical company. So that was the brief introduction of our company. And let me try to explain the position and what the status of the Turkey business is. So we started a Turkey business in 2010. We have a small group, but so we are working with many companies with to produce the major share of the European supplies. As you explained, we launched 3 products at the Turkey, and 2 of them is approved, and one the breast cancer drugs is under review in the Turkish FDA. And the market volume is not that high, but we are trying to increasing it. The volume is steadily increased by 30%, and the sales steadily increased by 18%. And so this is the main business of what we are doing in the Turkey. So we have 3 countries which where we are producing our drug. So mainly we are producing our drug substance in Korea, and which is the 3rd or 4th biggest biopharmaceutical complexes in the world. And we also have a very close partnership with Lonza, which is located in Singapore, and also US. So they are taking on one of the responsibility to produce our drug substances. But mainly the 40% of our actual drug, which is filling in the vial and filling into the syringe, is operating in the Turkey. So the 40% of the worldwide supplies we are doing in the Turkey, which the name of our company, partner company is Gencenta, and mainly we call it MN. And we are increasing the volume of the manufacturing capacities in Turkey, and also Gencenta is expanding their facility to fulfill our requirement demands of the European supplies, since our European demands is very rapidly increasing it. So, and this is the last slide which I prepared, and product launch plan in Turkey. Even though Turkey is a very important country for our production facility, we also think the Turkish market is very have a great opportunity. So Celgene plan to launch a multiple antibody biosimilar product in Turkey, and also we are trying to find one of our R&D partners too, since Turkey has a good R&D background. So in summary, now Turkey is a very important country for production, and also we have opportunity as our market, and also we are researching the partners for R&D. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, for your comprehensive explanation and presentation. When we look today, the pandemic is ranking top of our agenda globally. So your activities and your future view about Turkish investment, Turkish territories, production enlargement will be very helpful. Also, these can be similar samples can be welcomed for many other Korean companies as well. At this point, I would like to give floor to Mr. Mehmet Emin Bulak, General Manager of Arçelik LG, on the most important cooperation samples between our countries. Mr. Bulak is also Vice Chairman of the Turkey-Korea Business Council. Mr. Bulak, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Dear honorable participant, I am very honored to share our company presentation with you.
Sorry, can we check?
Excuse me. Sorry. One moment, please. Excuse me for delay.
Mr. Bulak, if you like.
Okay. Okay, excuse me for delay. Arçelik LG was established in 1999 with 50-50% partnership of Arçelik and LG Electronics. JV agreement was renewed in 2016 until 2023. Arçelik LG is first and largest integrated air conditioning plant in Turkey with $200 million total investment. We have 1.5 million sets of home air conditioner production capacity with 55,000 square meters closed area. Number of employee change between 650 and 1,500 due to seasonality effect and production demand. Our vision is to be the first choice in air conditioning area. Our target is growing in the export market and maintaining our leadership in the residential air conditioning product range and being a leader in the domestic market in the commercial air conditioning. You can see our historical development in this page. All these milestones are first in Turkey, like split type AC, roof and PAC type AC, multi-inverter AC, and commercial type indoor units. We produced our 10th million AC unit in 2016. Our R&D department is founded in 2007 and received certification in 2012. In 2017, we have produced our first wireless connected product, and in the same year, we made the switch to eco-friendly refrigerant R32. Our focus in the last years is digitalization for both product range and production systems. Increasing CAC production is also our priority. We have 4 assembly lines for RAC with 7,500 daily production capacity and 2 assembly lines for CAC with 600 daily production capacity. We continue to invest in our factory and product range. In the last 2 years, we have made these investments worth around $10 million for plastic injection, transfer press line, and control box installation. We aim to increase our factory integration and localization with these investments. Thanks to our continuous investments, we have the best R&D laboratories and test equipments among producers in Turkey. It is very important to preserve our intellectual property rights. With our R&D center capabilities, we continue to apply for patents, and as of last year, we have 161 patents for our innovations. You can see some of outstanding applications from our R&D projects, such as VRF technology and voice control. We have the widest product range in Turkey from 7 to 24K capacity. We also have the most energy efficient R++ product in our range. All of our range uses eco-friendly R32 refrigerant. We have the honor to be first local producer. Most of our products are IoT applicable connected products. Our customers can remotely control their air conditioners from everywhere with our mobile application. We have also developed a special Wi-Fi kit that can convert existing models to connected products. We have very good production capability in the RAC range, and we have a very high localization. Turkish commercial AC market size is about $500 million. We are continuing to strengthen our production capability and increase localization in the CAC range also. With this purpose, we plan new investment in this category and produce low-capacity VRF systems along with cassette-type indoor units. We will continue to invest for localization of high-capacity VRF systems. We receive government incentives for all of our investment. I want to thank to our minister and government for their valuable support. In 2020, 50% of our RAC sales belongs to export market, 50% belongs to domestic market. 76% of our export is to Europe. Netherlands is the main hub and distribution center of Europe market. Beyond Europe market, Egypt market is the main and fast-growing customer for us. According to the long-term sales projection in 2018, in 2023, we are targeted to reach approximately $95 million in export sales. However, considering 2020 performance, we forecast to exceed $100 million. Even though we had strong supply chain disruption this year due to COVID-19, we managed to have successful business results. We faced drastic monthly demand fluctuation. However, we could make non-stop production with the support of government during lockdown period, such as financial supports and work permissions. We provide 3 weeks lead time from order to delivery to our customers with nearly 100% on-time delivery performance. By managing this disruption, we helped our customers to increase their market shares. We are very proud of receiving a lot of awards from both Koç Holding and LG Electronics, such as Koç Holding Digitalization, Environment and Society Value Adding Awards, and Best Factory in LG Europe America region. We are respecting gender equality. Through this way, you see in the video, one assembly line consists of only women operators from welding to quality control process, which we call women's line. Last word, there is a lot of opportunity in Turkey for partnership between Turkish and Korean companies. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Black, for your well explanation about your experiences and about possibilities. Now I'd like to give floor to Mr. Chul-Jin Yoon, Vice President of Value Creation Group, SK Planet. Turkish participants will recognize with them the e-commerce website N11, which is a successful business cooperation with Doğuş Holding. Mr. Yoon, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon in Korea and also still günaydın in Turkey. My name is Chul-Jin Yoon. I'm a board member of N11 and also I'm a vice president of SK Planet. So today I will explain about the journey of the N11 in Turkey. As you see in this slide, N11 is Turkey's leading online shopping site. So we call it Numera 11. In Turkish is number 11. So we sell from electronics, home furnitures, and also kids and baby fashions and all kinds of the categories in our website. So currently, this is the last year figure. We have about 170,000 sellers, small and medium and large sellers. And also they posted about 18 million product listing in our website or our also together in application. Our buyer side, we have 12 million buyers last year and also 19 million members. So this is our figures in year 2019, but it didn't start from year 2019. We started from 2012. So I will explain where we start and how we did it. So it all starts at Davos Forum, World Economic Forum. So SK Group and Doge Holdings are meeting each other every year in Davos, and we discuss about where is the business opportunities and where is the collaboration area so that both groups can work together. So this is a picture of our MOU signing ceremony. So we have our chairman in the left, and also we also have a Ferry Pay, Mr. Shank in the right side. So year 2012, we signed the MOU so that we can further discover our opportunity in Turkish internet area. It's because in next slide, we will show how we chose the Turkish e-commerce, because back in year 2012, when we look at our e-commerce penetration of the retail market, in the right side, Korea is about 12% or 13% of our total offline business is traded in online. And at the time, China is about 7%, US followed by 6%. But still, Turkish e-commerce online penetration was only 2%. So we believe that there will be much potential in Turkish e-commerce so that we can capture the opportunity. And when we build a team between two groups, those were contributing many things in the local market. As a renowned name in Turkey, they provided the trust so that consumer can trust our website so that they can buy a product in our website. So they provide the trust, and also they are very familiar with all the local business manners, and also good network for the bankings and also the distribution and all other the small and medium and large sellers. From SK side, as we have experienced our own marketplace, internet marketplace in Korea, 11th Street Korea. So we provide our know-how of the online shopping mall together with our expert team members from Korea. So we try to find where we can play better. So those provide the local knowledge together with the marketing and then the building trust, and SK provide the e-commerce know-how and then talent and technology. So that was where we started. And after signing MOU in year 2012, we built our team in May. And this project team came up with their business plan and required budget, and also their strategy for entering the market. And we decided to start from the scratch instead of buy the company. So we incorporated the joint venture 50-50 between SK and Doge, and we launched next year, March year 2013. And during this 1 year period, as you see, joint venture, especially 50-50, is a difficult task, but still we were very supported by the both group chairman and also the executives. And our team members in the project team, they spent quite a time to understand each other so that at the end of the day, we now become not only the business friend, but also as a very close friend. And this is a key performance measures after our launch until last year. As you see, in terms of the transaction, we reached about 30 million transactions per year, year 2019, which is the amount is about 5.7 billion TL. It's a little less than $1 billion US. That was our total transaction amount last year. In terms of the user visit, is about 160 million monthly visit. And the monthly unique visit, unique means a unique personal visit, is a 41 million person for year 2019. And every year, as you may know, the 11/11 event, the Numera on Beer, they provide a huge campaign sale in November 11th. So we target this 11/11 as our benchmark for our next year's growth potential. So once we reach a certain target of the daily sales of the 11/11, then it will be a benchmark for how we can go further in the next year. So for example, last year we reached about 450 million TL for one-day transaction. So in this slide, as you understand in the right side, the growth rate of the e-commerce in Turkey is very rapid. In year 2013, the penetration of the online retail among total retail was only 2%. Now is about 6.7%. It's more than 3 times. And we expect to believe it will be increasing further. So these days in Korea is about a little more than 20% of the penetration of the retail. So at least Turkey will reach 10% very shortly in 3 or 4 years. As you see in the left, there are a lot of the new players and some older players like N11, but also we also have a Hepsi Brother, is the incumbent players in local market, and Gitti Gidiyor by eBay. eBay acquired the company in year 2011 or 12. And Trendyol is also fashion vertical. Now they are transforming the marketplace since acquired by Alibaba 2 years ago. And also Amazon launched year 2018. And as you see, all the new players from the global and also the incumbent local players, the market will grow further, and then our potential will be big enough to see those potentials. So this is our last slide. So as you see in the left, there is a monthly user visit in the e-commerce website. So as you see in the COVID-19 outbreak, before that outbreak, a little peak is a year-end sale of the global, especially November and December is the holiday season, and also people buy a lot of the things in the website. But in also our N11, Numera Onbiru, also has a very peak after COVID-19. So as you see in the right slide, after COVID-19, as people stay at home and they are doing the social distancing, so instead of buying the product in the offline, they try to visit our website and increase our transactions. So I believe in this COVID pandemic situation, the online and internet business is growing further. It's not only in Turkey or not only in Korea, but it's in global, the trend. And even though this is still very early stage of the e-commerce in Turkey, but these days we are discussing about how we can provide opportunity in the sellers in Turkey so that they can sell those products in Korea as a cross-border transaction. But still it's early, as we have difficulties in the tariff and also the logistics and then returns. But as market move forward, I believe not only the Korean seller can sell the product to Turkey, but also Turkish seller can someday sell their product in our website in Korea. So that's the further expectation. And as a last comment from my side, since I was a board member of the N11 for last 5 or 8 years, and also I was in the position of the interim CEO of the N11 in year 2015, about 3 months. So I believe the other companies in Korea can also have our types of the market opportunity, and then find a good partner like Doge, so they can bring their expertise to Turkey so that they can do the business with the Turkish company together in Turkey. So that was my own the wishes and also my appreciation for our friends in Turkey.
Thank you, Mr. Yun, for your enlightening explanation and information. As we are all aware, during this COVID period, this is one of the most fastest promising growing business field area in Turkish environment also, as well as globally too. I hope in coming years the infrastructure will give more opportunity, possibility to enlarge your operations also in the regionally, not only for Turkey but also in the regionally. Dear guests, I would like to thank Minister Pekcan and Minister Yunmo for honoring our meeting. Also, I would like to once again thank to all our speakers, presenters, our Turkish and Korean friends that enriched our meeting with their valuable speeches and presentations. I hope today's meeting has sparked some interesting vision for your business and will pave the way for further cooperation between our two countries. As Turkey and Korea Business Council, we are ready to support your business endeavors between Turkey and Korea. And if there are any questions which are in the floor, we will guide to the related parties for their answers. And taking this opportunity, I would like to wish to our Korean friends happy Thanksgiving for next week. I think on the 30th of September, and to all our friends, happy days and fruitful, nice path for our all both communities and healthy days. Thank you very much.